Today's lesson is taking public transportation. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Kelsey.
And today we're going to be talking about taking public transportation, which means you're going to be taking a bus or a subway train or maybe a train or something like that to get to school or work. So, Kelsey, how did you come to the office today? Did you take public transportation?
I didn't today. I got a ride, so I didn't have to take public transportation. But if I was alone, I would have taken public transportation. I would have taken either a bus or the MRT.
Or maybe a combination of the two, huh?
Yeah, sometimes you have to transfer between different public transportation lines or modes, and that's the way that you get to your destination.
Very good. Well, I tend to ride my bicycle or my scooter, and I seldom take public transportation, but in today's lesson, we're talking about some visitors to Taiwan. We've got, Gary and Julie here. They've just arrived at the Songshan airport, and they're trying to get to their hotel, so they need to take some form of public transportation. So let's find out what they do here. Let's listen to the first part of our lesson right now.
Taking public transportation. Getting to the hotel. Gary and Julie have just arrived at Songshan Airport, but they have a little trouble figuring out how to get to their hotel and ask a local for help.
Excuse me, would you be able to help us out?
Sure, what can I do for you?
We're staying at the Grand Outlook Hotel here. Their website says several buses go there, but we aren't sure where to catch them.
Oh, the bus stop is directly in front of the airport. You can't miss it. Just cross the road and get on bus 262, 275, or 906. Then get off at Nanjing Dunhua Road intersection. It's 3 stops from here, and your hotel is a 5-minute walk after that.
Thank you so much for your help.
Not a problem. Enjoy your trip.
大家好，今天第一个单字我们看到的是 transportation。这个字当作名词，代表运输工具或系统或是运输运送的意思。例如 My hiking club arranged for transportation to the mountain and back. 我的健行社安排好往返山上的运输工具。另外，我们常坐的大众运输工具，英文是 public transportation， 所以我们可以这么说 Lisa takes public transportation to get to school. Lisa 搭乘大众运输工具去上学。接下来我们看到的单字是 intersection， 这个字当作名词，它有十字路口、交叉路口的意思。例如，这路口发生许多起车祸，所以要小心。英文可以这么说 Many accidents occur at this intersection, so be careful. 此外，这个字的动词形态是 intersect， 是相交或是交叉的意思。那我们就可以说 This road intersects with the highway after a kilometer. 这条路在1公里后与高速公路相交。
All right, so before we get into our lesson, let's take a look at the vocab word that we have in our title. So our title is Taking Public Transportation, and we have this word transportation. Transportation is a means of carrying people or goods from one place to another. So for example, a car, a bike, or a bus would all be modes of transportation or types of transportation. If you're talking about public transportation, only a bus or an MRT or the subway, something public would be public transportation.
So a taxi would not be considered public transportation?
Correct.
Okay, so that would be like private transportation. But yes, as you said, a bus or a train would be public transportation. And the verb there, of course, is transport or transport. Now, here in the introduction, we are getting to the hotel. Gary and Julie have just arrived at Songshan Airport, which is the airport here in Taipei. But they have a little trouble figuring out how to get to their hotel. And therefore, they ask a local person for help. So they've just got here. They just passed through the security check or whatever. They've recovered their luggage, and now they need to get to their hotel. But they just don't know how to do it. So, hey, a good way to find out how to get somewhere is to ask a local person for help. And of course, as we all know, the people in Taiwan are more than willing to help.
Yes, so Julie finds a stranger or a local that she can ask for directions, and she says, "Excuse me, would you be able to help us out?" And the stranger says, "Sure, what can I do for you?" So this stranger is willing to help them out and asks Julie what she needs. And then Gary answers the stranger and he says, "We're staying at the Grand Outlook Hotel here. Their website says several buses go there, but we aren't sure where to catch them." All right, so we have a vocab word in this name of the hotel, the Grand Outlook Hotel. And outlook is a view from a place. For example, you could say a scenic outlook. So your outlook is looking out onto a scenic view. Or an outlook can also be a point of view. So you might have a positive outlook, and that would mean you have a positive point of view.
Indeed. So it kind of means a couple of things here. It means a view, or it means how you look at life, etc. What's your outlook on life, for example? What do you think of life? Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? What are you going to do, etc., etc.? This just happens to be the name of their hotel, the Grand Outlook Hotel. Now, Gary goes on to tell the stranger their website, the website of the hotel, says several buses go there, but we aren't sure where to catch them. So, of course, if you're going to take a bus, you could also say you're going to catch a bus. Hey, I'm going to catch the bus to the train station. But here, there are several buses according to their website, but they don't know where to take those buses. Where is the bus stop?
So the stranger answers Gary and he says, "Oh, the bus stop is directly in front of the airport. You can't miss it. Just cross the road and get on bus 262, 275, or 906. So he tells them where the bus stop is, and then he tells them the numbers of the buses that they can take. So the bus numbers that will get them to the place they want to go. And then he says, then get off at Nanjing-Dunhua Road intersection. So this intersection is a place where two or more things, especially streets, cross or intersect. So intersect is the verb form of this word. And here we have Nanjing-Dunhua Road intersection. So that would be the place that Nanjing Road and Dunhua Road intersect or cross.
You could also call this the intersection of Nanjing East Road and Dunhua, what is it, North Road there? Or South Road, whatever. Yes, Nanjing East Road would intersect Dunhua North Road there. So he goes on to say, the stranger here says, it's 3 stops from here and your hotel is a 5-minute walk after that. My goodness, the stranger is very familiar with the location of the Grand Outlook Hotel. So yes, this is an example of directions here. The stranger tells them that the bus stop is just across the street and take one of those 3 buses there. And then you take the bus for 3 stops and you'll get off at that particular intersection, and then it's a 5-minute walk after that. I did want to mention that a lot of people, for some reason, say the word intersection as intersection, with the accent there on the 3rd syllable, but I usually put it on the 1st syllable. Intersection. Intersection. Is that how you say it, Kelsey?
Yep, I usually put it on the 1st syllable as well.
Yes, the intersection of Nanjing East Road and Dunhua North Road. Okay, and Julie says, well, thank you so much for your help. You've been very kind. That's been very helpful. The stranger says, no problem or not a problem. Enjoy your trip. Okay, so hopefully they'll be able to use those directions and get to their hotel safely. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson. Let's listen to the next part right now.
Getting some food. After dropping off their luggage, Gary and Julie decide to head out to Yongkang Street for some food. Excuse me, could you direct us to Yongkang Street?
It's a bit far from here. You'll need to take the MRT. Taipei Arena Station is just up there. Take the green line to Songjian Nanjing and then transfer to the orange line for 2 stops. You need to get off at Dongmen Station.
Great, thank you so much.
第二部分我们看到的单字是 arena。 这个字当作名词，代表体育比赛或表演用的场地、场馆的意思。例如 Once you are inside the arena, you will have to find your seat. 一旦你走进表演场馆内，你就需要找到你的座位。顺便补充一下，课文中提到的 Taipei Arena 就是大家所熟知的台北小巨蛋。那就可以说 Mary went to the concert of Jay Chou in Taipei Arena last year. Mary 去年去台北小巨蛋参加周杰伦的演唱会。今天最后一个单字我们看到的是 transfer。这个字当作动词，它有转乘的意思。例如 William transferred planes in Tokyo. William 在东京转机。
Okay, welcome back, everybody. So we've already talked about how we can get to the hotel in our last part, and now it's time to talk about getting some food. So after dropping off their luggage, Gary and Julie decide to head out to Yongkang Street for some food. So everyone knows that Yongkang Street is very famous for its food. So after Gary and Julie got to their hotel successfully, thanks to that stranger's help, that stranger's directions, they drop off their luggage and now they're hungry. So they're going to head to Yongkang Street for some food.
Isn't that where Ding Tai Fung is, near Yongkang Street?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, yes, indeed. As you said, Kelsey, that is an area that is famous for its restaurants. So they must have read this in their tour book or something like that. Or maybe somebody at the hotel said, hey, if you want to get a bite to eat, you should head to Yongkang Street. So that's what they're going to do. They've dropped off their luggage and they're heading out for some food. Now, Gary is going to ask some directions again here. He asks another stranger. This time it's a woman. He says, excuse me, could you direct us to Yongkang Street? Could you tell us how to get to Yongkang Street?
And the stranger says, it's a bit far from here. You'll need to take the MRT. Taipei Arena Station is just up there. Take the green line to Songjiang Nanjing and then transfer to the orange line for 2 stops. So the stranger directs them to take the MRT. Since it's kind of far, they can't walk there, so they'll need to take this public transportation, MRT. And she says that Taipei Arena Station is just up there, so it's just up the street. So the closest MRT to them seems to be Taipei Arena Station. And an arena is a building for sports or some other kind of entertainment, maybe a concert or something like that. And it has a large central area surrounded by seats. So, for example, you might say, the football game is taking place at our local arena, or here we're talking about Taipei Arena.
To me, an arena is an indoor sports facility where a stadium is outdoors. Is that how you see it as well?
I think so. Arena has a full roof over it, right?
Usually, I think so, yeah. And also, it's kind of interesting because when I was studying Spanish back in college, the word for sand is actually arena or arena, as you say it in Spanish. And I think that's what they originally had at these places, a lot of sand, because lots of sports competitions took place on sand. So that's where the word comes from, although I believe it's probably from Latin and not from Spanish. But in any case here, that's the station they need to get to, Taipei Arena Station. It's just up there or just over there. Take the green line to Songjiang Nanjing. That's another station. And then they need to transfer to the orange line. So here we've got the verb to transfer, which means you change from one place to another. You could transfer buses, for example. You could transfer MRT lines. You could even transfer to a different school. Oh, I don't like this school. It's a nice school, but it doesn't really have what I need, so I'm going to transfer to another school.
Right. So you're changing from one thing to another, basically. And so they need to transfer to the orange line for 2 stops. And then the stranger says, you need to get off at Dongmen Station. So that's their goal here, to get to Dongmen Station. And then Julie says, great, thank you so much.
Indeed. So hopefully those directions will guide them to their destination. Okay, so let's move on now to the third part of our lesson. We're going to listen to it first.
Look, that sign says we're on Minchuan East Road. But according to the map, Dongmen Station exits onto Xinyi Road. I don't think we're in the right place.
Sorry, can you tell us where we are? We're looking for Dongmen Station.
Oh, it's just 4 stops away. You need to take the orange line heading toward Nanxijiao.
Okay, thanks. I guess we went the wrong way.
Well, let's get going. I'm starving.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So it's time for the third part of our lesson. In the last part, we were talking about getting some food. And Gary and Julie had gotten directions from a stranger on how to get to Yongkang Street. And now, after taking the orange line for 2 stops, Gary and Julie get off at Zhongshan Elementary School Station.
Indeed. So if you study a map of the Taipei MRT system, you will see that they actually went the wrong way. They were supposed to go to the south on the orange line, but instead they went to the north, and they ended up at Zhongshan Elementary School Station. So Gary, after exiting the station, says, "Look, that sign says we're on Minquan East Road." But according to the map, Dongmen Station exits onto Xinyi Road. I don't think we're in the right place. So he sees a sign, and the sign, of course, is written in both Chinese and English. And according to the sign, they're on Minquan East Road. And then he refers to the map, and he says, well, we're not really supposed to be here because Dongmen Station exits onto Xinyi Road. Exit here is a verb that just means it goes out into this particular place. You can exit the building there, for example, which means you can leave the building. So basically, they go out of the station and they're on Xinyi Road. At least they're supposed to be. But they exited the station and now they're on Minquan East Road. They went the wrong way.
Yes, so they don't know where they're going again, so they need directions again, and Julie finds another stranger to ask for some help, and she says, "Sorry, can you tell us where we are? We're looking for Dongmen Station." All right, so she's asked the stranger where they need to go to get to Dongmen Station, and the stranger says, "Oh, it's just 4 stops away. You need to take the orange line heading toward Nansijiao." So the stranger knows how to get to Dongmen Station, and she says that they need to take the orange line heading toward Nansijiao. So they need to take the orange line in the other direction.
Right, so the orange line goes, if it goes to the north there and out toward the west, it either goes to Sanchong or Xinzhuang or Luzhou or places like that. So they, of course, went the wrong direction. But if you're heading toward the south, then it's going toward Nanxijiao Station. So that's what the stranger here says. It's just 4 stops away. The stranger could also say, it's just 4 stops away from here. Okay, so yes, go back down there into the MRT station, get on the correct line, take the orange line to Nanxijiao, and you should get to your destination with no problem. Julie says, okay, thanks. And she turns to Gary and she says, I guess we went the wrong way.
Yes, so they've finally figured out the mistake that they made. They took the MRT in the wrong direction, the opposite direction of where they were supposed to. And Julie tells Gary about their mistake, and now they can finally, hopefully, get on their way to their destination.
Indeed. So, yes, they probably need to buy new tickets and get back down there into the station and board the correct train. And as you know, the MRT in Taipei is extremely convenient, and they'll be there in no time. They'll still have plenty of time to find themselves a nice restaurant, because here Gary says, well, let's get going. To get going means to begin your journey, to start going in the direction that you want to go. Let's get going. Let's get moving, you could also say, because Gary's in a hurry here. He says he's starving.
Yep, so let's going. You could just as easily have said, let's go. So it just means let's get on our way. I'm really keen on leaving where we are and getting on to our next stop. So their next stop is Yongkang Street, as we mentioned. And since Gary is starving, hopefully they'll get there soon and they can find a restaurant and get some local Taiwanese food, right?
Yeah, maybe at Din Tai Fung, indeed. And of course, there are many other wonderful restaurants in that area as well. So, my goodness, they have used two different types of public transportation in today's conversation. They took a bus, and now they took a train. They took an MRT train. And they're still on their way to Dongmen Station, but hopefully they'll arrive there without any problems. Okay, everybody, that brings us to the end of our explanation. Time now to hear from our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。在对话第一部分， Gary 和 Julie 要前往饭店。那课文提到说 Gary and Julie have just arrived at Songshan Airport, but they have a little trouble figuring out how to get to their hotel and ask a local for help. Gary 和 Julie 刚抵达松山机场，不过他们不太知道要怎么到饭店，所以就请一位本地人帮忙。当我们说 have trouble doing something， 或是用 have trouble with 加上名词，就表示在什么什么上面碰到困难，或者是做某事有困难。那还有几个类似的说法，像是 have difficulty， 或是 have a hard time， 或者是 have problems， 后面也都可以接动词 ing， 或者是接 with 加名词来表达相近的语义。好，那这边还要介绍片语动词 figure out 的不同意思。第一种用法是当受词是事物的时候，它表示弄清楚或是解决。那 figure out 后面也常常接 how、what、why 等等疑问词所引导的名词子句，就像对话里面的用法。例如 I can't figure out how to install the software， 我搞不清楚要怎么装这个软体耶。好，那再造一个例句It took him an hour to figure out the math problem. 他花了1个小时才解开那一题数学题。第二种用法是以人来当受词，这时候它表示去理解、了解某人的行为。例如 Her little brother acts weird sometimes. She just can't figure him out. 他这个年幼的弟弟有时候举止怪异，他就是搞不懂他。好，顺便补充一下 figure 当动词的另外2种意思。第一种是表达认为或是以为，例如 I figured that he would soon get tired of the job. 我认为他很快就会厌倦那份工作了。好，那第二种意思是表达意料之中，常见的用法是 that figures， 这表示说那就是意料之中的事，或者是你也可以用 it figures 加上 that 子句，那这时候它的意思其实就跟 it's not surprising 加 that 子句差不多。例如 Hey, Kyle failed the exam. Kyle 考试不及格。Well, that figures. He didn't study for it. 那是意料中的事，他根本就没念书啊。好，我们读到对话的最后一句 Gary 说 Well, let's get going. I'm starving. 那我们走吧，我快饿死了。好，那这里的 get going 就是出发或者是动身前往某个地方。那它还有一个常见的意思是开始进行，像是 We need to get going on our plan as soon as possible。我们必须尽快开始进行我们的计划。好，那以上是今天的重点整理，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Transportation. The city is changing its transportation system to provide better service. Intersection. The traffic lights at the next intersection are not working. Arena. Our hockey team practices at the arena near the school. Transfer. You need to transfer from the bus to the subway at the next stop.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Kelsey.
See you next time.